Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What, are you trying to get the feels from the mid-'90s going on here? What's up, Christian? Jeez.
That was awkward lyrics to lead into Pete Fiutak.
Pete Fiutak awkwardly getting thrown in to the
I've waited forever to touch you.
To the Goo Goo Dolls. Oh, Christian, as an all-timer right there. I love it. Joining us on the program right now, he's Pete Fiutak, College Football News, is where you can find his byline. Pete, I apologize, but also, sorry, not sorry, actually, now that I think about it.
Are you about to tell me you love me?
Yeah,
that's exactly
in a special way. In a special way, that's how we do it.
I'm old enough to remember that song stuck when it was like in real time.
Oh yeah, we are too. That's I never quite got it. And they actually had other okay songs, but that seemed to be the one that just unfortunately broke through. And
yeah,
I'm sure they're the ones. I'm sure those guys are like, no, it's one of those songs that they're like, can you just please not ask us to play that song? That's the one that we didn't think was going to go.
It was actually written for a movie starring Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, there's all those bands like that. Like whichever that band was that made the Friends theme, they're like, they want to kill themselves now.
Yeah, that's the Rembrandts. The Rembrandts. Don't act like I don't know. Come on. Yeah. Well, these are all things from our era. Our program brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. College Football News is where you can find Pete Fiutak's byline. As we get into the offseason here, and again, it's less and less of an offseason every year. One of the things that's coming up here is the House having to decide what this is going to look like, what the settlement's going to end up being. And college football is going to have to make some decisions when it comes to, or college sports really, not football, but college sports are going to have to make a decision. And universities are going to have to figure out where sports are going to fit into their world. Are we going to start seeing other sports at universities just dropping off? We've already seen some of them. Is that going to be the norm once this thing comes out and everything starts to kind of shake down?
I'm going to play the full-on heel here. And having grown up my entire life in around colleges, my dad worked for a bunch of universities and doing what I do and everything. And now having two kids in college and paying for all this, I have yet to hear an argument why there needs to be non-revenue sports in college. Like I get I get you need Title IX. I get the importance of making things equal, and I get that you do need to balance things out to a certain extent. So that I'm with, and it's important. But this is in high school. You don't need after-school activities. I mean, I covered non-revenue sports teams where there's like two people there. It's like, well, why are you spending all this money on this, sport? I mean, there really is no reason to have these other sports that don't generate revenue. Like, look, it's a college campus. We have to remember it's college. You're supposed to be there for education, learning purposes, and all that kind of stuff. But the horses left the barn long ago when it comes to football and basketball and women's basketball too. So that's, again, these things do rise up if you give them a shot. But I think the step that they're pushing for, and they're trying to do this as politically correct as possible, is being like, look, we just don't need non-revenue sports because, they just don't help them. And there's no real educational value to this to a university.
I think one of the biggest challenges that's going to come forward is figuring out how to, manage this new world of college football, because you have, I guess they're talking about trying to create an organization and trying to get the conferences to sign off on certain restrictions on NIL, salaries, all that kind of stuff. But isn't that what the NCAA was before? Like, there's already been court orders and already these decisions being made on the legal side of things that could prevent that from happening. So, where does this land, and how do they find this middle ground? Is it collective bargaining that solves that problem, Pete?
Just remember that every everything that we're talking about here, one completely gets blown off, forgotten about, not cared about the second the ball kicks off on October 28th or whatever that is. The other part, too, of this is everything that they're doing right now is blah, 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 so they don't get sued. That's the only reason that they're trying to – they're just trying just not to get a bunch of class action lawsuits against them, because they actually have the perfect system where you don't have to pay for the labor. It's a beautiful thing if you are these colleges because, and this is what I've always been for. Fine, give players a cut of the money, figure something out. They can't unionize, but all right. But find another aspect of American business life where, remember, there's an entertainment product. These are the entertainers on the field. Your coaches are getting paid tens of millions of dollars. So for someone like a Nick Saban to be a part of this, his coaching staff at Alabama was worth about $20 million a year. So if you're paying the coaches, why not pay the guys who are the actual players and entertainers in this whole thing? So that's all this is. The one part of all, so I'm for, however you need to do this and revenue splitting and things like this, but there's two other aspects to that. One, there's always going to be places that go an extra mile and do stuff outside of whatever rules. Because if they perceive that one school, if a school perceives that one place or their rival is giving someone an extra little bag of cash, well, certainly they're going to try to keep up the pace with that. The other part is the one aspect of all this that I really think fans will have a hard time getting past. I think fans can get past the money. We're okay now with endorsement deals, and we really are more fine than we think with quarterbacks getting a couple million a year and all that kind of stuff. I think we're going to start to lose it when we have 31-year-old college football players. The whole idea that you can stay in school and keep playing for 8, 9, 10 years. Well, no, that's not the point of this whole thing. Is that now you have grown men playing against 18-year-old kids, and that I think will not sit well because that then becomes a minor league NFL.
Pete, if you're kind of watching and following all this stuff, and of course a lot of our listeners are, and they start to look at Utah and BYU and they go, all right, we had this conversation last hour with somebody who works at BYU, and they just got a new athletic director, and there's a lot of energy around BYU with the football and the basketball stuff, and almost more so with basketball. But from the standpoint of these the new Super League stuff and the conversations that when these TV contracts are up and people start to wonder what does the new future of college football and sports look like, and really we talk about football in its own universe, where do BYU and Utah fit into that conversation going forward into the future?
I'm just going to talk like I know what I'm talking about here because you guys know this better than I do. I would think BYU would benefit more than just about anybody because is money an object? I mean, if you have a school like a BYU or a Notre Dame or private universities to a certain extent with with funds and revenue sources that aren't just about the school and the business of colleges and the multi-billion business of running major universities, and you break it down into BYU obviously has a separate aspect to this school that the funds are there, and it's from the church side of things too, where you can make this along with being an entertainment vehicle. It's a PR arm for the school and for everything about the place. I would think that in a world where it's about who has the money to spend, I would think that's not an issue for BYU. And like you said, college basketball, that's a powerhouse team coming because basketball, you only need a couple guys, unless apparently Rutgers of last year.
It still doesn't work.
It still doesn't work when you have two of the top 3 guys in the draft. You can't even make the tournament. But BYU obviously looks like they're going to be awesome in basketball next year. And, the football team's obviously been great. So I don't know, in the current climate, this is the one positive about a sport where if you go back to 1800, there's only 10 schools that have dominated, like Princeton and Yale and Michigan and now Ohio State, Alabama. I mean, there just aren't that many schools that have really dominated at the highest of levels. Well, this levels the playing field because if you have money, you can afford a team that can get out there on the field and compete.
Now we brought up BYU and Utah, I got to ask you a Utah question because they had a 5-7 season last year. They were a massive disappointment, one of the most disappointing seasons that I've seen from Utah because of the high expectations. But now Kyle Whittingham's right where he likes to be, which is under the radar, people doubting them. Can you see them having a big bounce back year this year with the personnel they brought in?
How can you not? I mean, so it wasn't just Utah. How about Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, remember last year at this time, it was a foregone conclusion that Utah was going to win the conference, Arizona was going to be right there, and Oklahoma State was going to be in the mix. And those turned out to be probably the three worst teams in the league. And but look, the negative is that the Big 12, from top to bottom, is probably the strongest, not the best, not the most talented, but Houston's good, Cincinnati's good, Texas Tech. Look, you talk about having money and buying a team. Texas Tech has got a whale of a team because they crushed the transfer portal. Yep. Arizona State's great again. So every single team in the Big 12 is either improved or good enough to win the conference if everything kind of breaks right. The difference being this year, though, you look at schedules, and, Arizona's going to be better. And, again, Oklahoma State's going to go back to Oklahoma State. And Utah's going to be better, mainly because you got a quarterback now. This is all going to stop. We're not going to wait for Cam Rising to come out. Devin Dampier is a player. I mean, he is – I don't know how much you saw of him last year in the Mountain West world. He's fun. And he could be a difference maker along with some of the other transfers to come in to make Utah turn this around pretty fast.
I think every time we talk about Devin Dampier and after spring, and frankly, he was one of these guys too. It helps that he likes to be in front of the microphone and he gives the right answers, and that helps also too. And people kind of bounce back immediately, and I think that the Kyle Whittingham side of it, people look at that and go, how long can you keep Kyle Whittingham down? Especially, I think the wisdom is here locally that, this is not there's not going to be a lot of years that Kyle Whittingham keeps doing this, and this may be the last of it. And if you're going to go out on a good note, you gotta have a quarterback like that, and I think they got him. And I think that Jason Beck is also that guy who is able to change the trajectory of what this team can do. If you're looking from the outside, on the outside looking in, and you start to look at the Big 12, where are they going forward? You talked about Texas Tech. This was also like a league that was because of the teams that underperformed and then teams who overperformed, like Arizona State, BYU, even in that category of teams that you didn't think were going to be as good as they were, and they're stratospheric on the performance side. Colorado, even in that conversation. So does the league need to have a little bit more of a top-heavy sort of look at it? I know Urban Meyer today said, the SEC's good, but they're nowhere near the top of the SEC isn't near the top of the Big Ten right now. Where's the Big 12 when it comes to these power conferences?
I don't know about that in terms of because, yes, Georgia's going to be good and Alabama's going to be good. But the top of the Big 12, you keep going with the Big 12. Baylor's really good. Baylor's probably has one of the best second halves of the season last year that flew under the radar. If they don't colossally gack away that Colorado game on the two Hail Marys given up, then they would have been right into it. TCU is being a little bit forgotten about. They're great again. So, the problem is you've got every team in the Big 12 is very good, but you don't have that superpower. So, and this is going to be how the college football playoff world goes forward, and it'll be interesting to see how fans really keep reacting to it because it's not going to be like, even the NBA playoffs as we're seeing right now, or it's definitely not going to be March Madness where you can hit threes for a couple of games and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, you're in the Elite Eight. The Boise State thing is cute, the SMU thing is cute, and there's going to be a win somewhere, but you're not going to win two or three of those things. And the superpowers, the strong, I'm not that smart, but last year at this time I said Ohio State's winning the national title. They have more money. They got Chip Kelly, their offensive coordinator. They're deeper, and they have more NFL talent. Not hard, So it's going to be the superpowers every single year. So yeah, if you're Utah and you win the Big 12, all right, maybe you get in, maybe you catch a break or two, you win a couple games. But wow, going from 12, soon 16 to get it at 8 and get to the 4, you can get a couple, but they get those last two final steps. As we've learned in the college football playoff era, you can maybe win one, you can't win 3.
Who's the best quarterback in college football in 2025?
I'm not going to knee-jerk and say Arch Manning. He's the one of ones. He is because his name's Manning and because he's got all the skills and all the tools. The spotlight will be fully and completely on him. There's going to be some who believe Drew Aller is going to rise up, and this is when it kind of all shines. I'm not quite buying it yet. But it's not just about the bet. How about naming a quarterback? It's what I kind of find funny about all these, the really early, top 25. All right, you people who are coming up with the top 25, give me the starting quarterback for Oregon, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Michigan, because those are 5 of the top 6 or 7 teams out there.
Yeah, they got to figure it out.
Everyone knows the Texas starting quarterback, and pretty much everyone should know Drew Aller. And throw Notre Dame in there as well. You can't. The average person has no clue who C.J. Carr is right now.
Yeah, right.
It's Georgia's still really going to still try to figure out. Are we still going to go with Dante Moore at Oregon yet? I mean, there's still a lot of question marks. So out of the top 10 teams in the country, let's just say 7 of them, the average diehard college football fan can't name the starting quarterback for 7 of them.
That's depressing for those teams. Good for the teams who have a quarterback already. But yeah, just throwing out like the Garrett. Everyone loves to just go. Oh, I know.
Ohio State will be just fine. Alabama will be just fine.
For sure. But we just kind of knee jerk go. Well, Garrett Nussmeier. I've heard that name. Yep. Oh, Drew Aller, sure. Yeah. Oh, Carson Beck, why not?
Cade Klubnik.
Cade Klubnik. Oh, yeah. Obviously, these guys are your front runners for the Heisman Trophy because they're the only names that we know right now in May, right? That's what we do every year. As we go.
I still do refuse to believe that Travis Hunter can win the Heisman. I'm not going to buy it. I don't believe it. I just don't. Yeah, those things just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy.
He's Pete Fiutak, collegefootballnews.com, so we can find that byline. Go check it out today. Go see those. As usual, Pete, we appreciate it, and we're going to keep these. We're going to keep the Goo Goo Dolls on tap for when you come on the program again next time.
When I need a hug, just call me back. I'll be really happy for it.
I love it. All right, Pete, we appreciate it, man. Thanks again. Oh my goodness,
that's as warm and fuzzy as Pete's ever going to get.
And that was like bring a guest on and then have them join with Goo Goo Dolls. What was the name of that movie, by the way? Was that City of Angels?
City of Angels, yeah. With Nicolas Cage.
No, it wasn't Nick Cage.
Oh, it was.
Was it really?
Yes.
I thought it was. Oh no, it was Nicolas Cage. You're right. I was thinking it was. I was thinking of a different fake angel movie. I was thinking of Michael with what's his name? John Travolta.
What you're saying is Hollywood has produced way too many fake angel movies.
Angels in the Outfield, by far the best one. Angels in the Outfield, by far the best one. Christopher Lloyd is the lead angel, bringing the, I think back then it was the California Angels at Anaheim.
Yeah.
Boy, what a weird name that was for a while.
And they tried to get you to say the whole thing.
I love it. Once again,
the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
We've awkwardly asked Todd to come in and wade into a conversation that, by the way, it looks like he knows too much about also. You're in the same vibe we are. We know these same movies. Yeah. You know the same songs that we do, so I get it. When we bring a guest in with the City of Angels soundtrack, then we've hit a new low. But here we are. Todd, IBEW Local 354, helping people understand what a labor union does here, not just a labor union, but the electricians and telecom workers labor union here in Salt Lake City and here in Utah. You guys are introducing people to a new career in some cases.
Yeah.
You're getting people better jobs. You're getting people better paychecks. You're negotiating better pay, and you're getting them all of the different benefits that they've been basically what we've wanted to sign up for. The American dream is what is wrapped up in everything we're talking about right now.
Absolutely, man. You look at the history of the middle class, of where they came from. The labor movement is right there with it. So having a good collective bargaining agreement that sets a good wage and makes sure you're getting the benefits that you need is really how we're going to survive as a middle class.
I'm looking at some of these numbers. If you want to get into electrical, if you're interested in the trades and electrical is a place you want to go, IBEW is great because you probably out there, you're not making $41.23. You're probably not getting a raise on June 1st up to $43.65 on the check, right?
That's right.
On the check. I mean, this is and $2,000 bonuses for journeyman and comm technicians.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
And that's just the check. So in addition to that, our contractors are paying for the full family health care, for the multiple retirements. We've negotiated in our last contract 7 paid holidays.
Wow.
In construction, as far as, that type of thing.
Imagine not having to work on holidays.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like that, JJ. Come on. We don't have to work every holiday. Not all the time, at least.
We have the radio show off on
Hey,
on
look
Monday,
at that. So in the end, though, if somebody's listening and they go, I want to kind of get into this side, and the apprenticeship route is really a good place to go because from the apprenticeship standpoint, you're getting paid while you're learning the trade also.
Absolutely.
And you have this, and speaking of education, you go to a 4-year university, there's one thing. How about a 4-year apprenticeship where you're actually getting paid, and then you give yourself a massive raise when you become that journeyman electrician?
That's right. It's a big raise, and we just implemented some new programs with the school, so the only expense to the student is purchasing the books.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
If you're listening right now, let me give that phone number out because Todd and his guys want to just
give us a call.
Just answer. Ask the questions.
Yeah.
Like just say, hey, what is this about? I heard you talking on the KSL Sports Zone about this. I wanted to kind of hear from yourself. And look, if you're signing on and you're a journeyman electrician, you can get a $2,000 bonus. You can ask them about that, or a comm technician, same thing. Ask about all of those things, but ask about what the program is. If you've got a loved one, someone that this could apply to, give them this number, 801-306-0722. That's 801-306-0722, or go to ibew354.org. Todd, thanks for hanging out, man. We appreciate it. As usual. All right, we'll take the break here. We've got more to go around the corner. We've got tons still to talk about, so stay right here. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is DJ and PK.
Former BYU coach Steve Cleveland.
I've not seen AJ play. As I watched that 90-minute practice, Wright is going to be the point guard on this team. But you probably have a difficult time telling AJ that he's not going to handle the ball. He was playing the point guard. He's not a selfish player. He's very selfless. He hits the open man. He's got such size and length. Watching him initially, I thought he looked a lot like Paul George, but he's even got a better body. It took Paul probably 2 years to get a body like AJ already has. So it's obvious that he's going to have an impact immediately. This team's going to be really good. Houston, Texas Tech, BYU, Arizona, Ohio State, those are going to be the same teams that are going to show up. I'm excited about it, man. I think it's going to be a really, really good year.
Catch DJ and PK mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Christian Esparza filling in for our producer, Alex, who's calling some soccer matches for the state tournament.
Wild. Yeah, they've had some golden goals. They had a shootout that took 13 rounds.
I love that.
Alex is going to be sore when he comes to work. Is he back tomorrow?
He is.
He's going to be sore.
Tomorrow and then out again on Thursday.
And then he's out again on Thursday.
He's going to be sore.
Got a hammy situation?
Probably more like a larynx.
Hey, Christian, what's with the morose mood today, brother? Are you okay? Everything all right in there?
Well, you were saying 290s for Goo Goo Dolls, so I brought a little more modern.
No, I know.
Post Malone.
Posty. I love me some Posty. And of all the Posty songs, like the one that like is heartfelt, I love it. You're feeling like some like
it's a good vibe.
Some real like love vibes today,
I just really miss my Tupperware, man.
Hey,
he's a little emo today. He's a little emo.
That's okay. Go to KSLSports.com and chip into the GoFundMe page of Christian Esparza for the glass bottom Tupperware.
Project news today. KSL Sports Zone.
And the sound that it made when it shattered.
Oh, was it in the break room over there?
Yeah.
Christian's glassware dead today. Dropped on the floor.
What was in it though?
The burrito was delicious.
I like a stir fry.
Sounded like you weren't that invested in the food situation.
It was good. I was actually really excited.
Dang it. Look at his face, too. He's like, dang.
He really is crushed.
No, I know. I remember those days of being like, you bring your lunch to work and then you go, and then, look, we've had lunch bandits in this room, or in this building before.
Oh, we had somebody who was so good at that, he became known as the break room bandit.
Really? Yeah. Down in TV? Was it down in the TV break room?
I'm not going to say any names.
Oh, did they found out?
I said the gender.
Uh-oh.
I guess I have to finish. He got busted.
Yeah, it's Doug Wright from KSL Radio, yeah. Right? No.
It was not Doug Wright. No, Doug Wright only eats Ruth's Chris. Or something from the Nut Company.
The creamed asparagus. Oh.
Steak and nuts.
No one orders steak and nuts. Come on.
Does.
Come on, man.
For his wife, D.
Yeah. I will say that was a good gig. Be able to go to the steakhouse
Yes, it was.
whenever you want.
Yes, it was.
Love it. Let me see here. Well, Christian, we're pulling for you, first of all, and the stir fry. I think we should on Thursday. You know what? Thursday we're going to bring in some food. All right. I'm going to bring you a glass Tupperware. May or may not be used. I don't know. You don't know. And we'll figure it out.
As long as it's washed.
It'll be washed. All right. Let me see here. JJ, first of all, we were some of the stuff that Pete Fiutak was saying. It makes me a little bit nervous about what the future of college sports is. And look, I'm going to go right down at top of the hour. Next hour, we're going to actually chat about this at length. I think a little bit more about just how this new night commission, that's getting together and talking about trying to preserve the Olympic sports, and the coaches are like, they're trying to push for mandated. The term they use is codified. They're trying to codify a couple of things, and that means basically to make it a law, right? Like, we're going to try to make this a law that you can have minimums of sports that these schools at the FBS level have to carry.
Can't wait to get into that.
And we have schools here who have a ton of sports, and the question is where do they start to go away if they aren't making money? At some point, as Pete Fiutak mentioned, he goes, "Look, I don't want to be rude or anything, but why are we doing the not for profit sports anymore?" And it's like, I don't have a great answer for you, especially considering what we're talking about at the top level there.
The scholarships,
student athletes.
Look, I want that for those student athletes. But
I don't want it to go away either, but I do think. But I do think
economics
asking
are
the question is an okay thing to do.
Yes,
and so we'll ask those questions. In the meantime, JJ, the All NBA team. By the way, you can nominate your youth sports volunteer. I think yes, you still have some time to do it. You can nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week award. The way you do it is you go to KSLSports.com/contest and you listen. And we will we'll read those winners off, the people who are doing an awesome job in your neighborhood as youth sports volunteers. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers, making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week. It's sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. So there you go. JJ, you've got a couple of things going on. You've got NHL, Stanley Cup playoffs. You've got the Eastern Conference Finals firing up on that side of things. You have the Western Conference Finals, the NBA, firing up tonight, Game 1. So we are going to be chock full at my house of stuff to watch. You and I were both talking in the break about how fascinating this Timberwolves Thunder series is.
Yeah.
And I was reading this thing about Ant-Man versus SGA, and I thought, well, that's a fun little talk. But then I started to think a little bit more deeply about it. We're talking about the possibility of what is being defined as the new face of the NBA, I think, with a series like this. Tell me if I'm wrong, or if I'm overstating it. Correct me, because
let me say this first.
I don't think that the Eastern Conference has this superstar type firepower. Look, Tyrese Halliburton
versus Halliburton.
It's a fun series, but those guys are not being talked about as the possible face of the league going forward. SGA is probably going to win the MVP, and if he's not, it's not going to be one of those other two guys in the East. And by the way, Anthony Edwards is as exciting as anybody in the league right now.
Yes, he is. He's the most dynamic,
and
the
he's
most
young,
athletic.
And both these guys are freaking young, and they're really, really good. And you have the possibility, if whoever wins this series and goes on and maybe they go on and win the NBA Finals and they win that title, even if they don't, I think you're looking at a defining moment for these two franchises, but specifically for these two guys, because SGA and Anthony Edwards are the face of the NBA, and I'm glad that they're facing off against one another in the Western Conference Finals.
Before we get into this, who's the face of the NFL? Who's the face of the NHL? Who's the face of Major League Baseball? Do we even have those conversations?
I think Aaron Judge and Shohei have that kind of wrapped up, right? On the baseball side, I think it's pretty easy on that side because you have superstars.
Yeah.
And in that case, they had to be like freakish superstars. You have the guy who breaks the AL home run record.
But do you see those guys doing a lot of endorsements and ads? Are they household names? Are people talking about them all the time?
I think Shohei is.
I think baseball fans talk about those guys. Them. Is the general public really fascinated with those guys?
You're right, though. And for as much as we love hockey, you're hard pressed to find big names that people can just start rattling off if they're not NHL guys, right?
Right.
On the NFL side of things, you're right.
It's about teams and brands.
It's like Mahomes, I guess, but even he is not looked at as. It's like, you know who the biggest face of the NFL probably is? Taylor Swift. Like that's from a mainstream, honest perspective.
Perhaps, maybe.
Like that's we have that discussion. Now I'm joking, obviously, but
I bring that up because that conversation only happens with the NBA,
and you need to have it
because it's a player-driven and a star-driven league. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Steph. Like, there's always that big-name guy. And it started I think it started with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and it moved to Michael Jordan. And there's just always this expectation and progression that there's going to be a next. Who's next? And now the NBA is in this position, and this is a marketing thing, and it is important to the NBA because the NBA is different than the other leagues because of what I just mentioned. LeBron James is 40. Steph Curry's 36, 37 years old. Those guys are moving on soon. They're all-time greats. Even Giannis, I think, is 30, right? So who's next? This series could show us that, to your point. That's why it's important. And that's why we always ask, who's the face of the NBA? Because the NBA requires that there's a face. Because it has been that for a while. Now, as basketball fans, I'm really fascinated by Pacers-Knicks. As a basketball fan, I'm fascinated by this Timberwolves-Thunder series.
Tell me about it.
I think both teams are really, really good. They both have depth.
Yep.
I love the way that if you look at all four of these teams, how they were built is really fascinating. And you also look around the league, the league is changing because you're going to have the seventh different champion in the last 7 years. This league has always been about dynasties.
Yeah.
This is a new era of NBA basketball. And who's going to be the face of that moving forward? It could be multiple faces. But we still look at it from the same lens. So to your point, you look at this series and like, okay, those are two guys that could carry that torch. But to get there, you got to win.
Yeah.
You got to win it all.
No, I think
that's the next step for
whoever conquers in this series, I think in the West, I'm not saying that they're going to be the ones who are going to be your favorite to win the title.
I can't see the Pacers or the Knicks beating either of these two teams. I can't see it.
And I can't see the Pacers or the Knicks being favored against, at the very least, against Oklahoma City. I think you'd probably list, I don't know, you'd probably see Vegas odds go the direction of the New York Knicks.
How fascinating would a Minnesota versus
New York
finals be after the trade that took place made both teams better?
You've got Julius Randle and Kat firing off against one another, and everybody looking and going, "Oh boy, this is awkward."
Dante DiVincenzo, you know how bad he wants to beat that coach on the sideline of New York.
Oh yeah. Well, I think even the guys.
He has any love lost for Tibbs?
By the way, I was going to say, I think all the guys on that team probably don't like Tibbs either.
Tibbs sucks.
But
he gets results.
He does. And certainly, if they go to the NBA Finals, by the way, because you think about when we were kids, like that was the last time that Madison Square Garden had any type of vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Had any type of
Mid-90s, Patrick Ewing, John Starks, that whole vibe, the Pacers-Knicks series were great. You're right.
And it was a hard time. It's a hard time for New Yorkers because they're as obsessed about the Knicks as anything. And when the Knicks are playing well, like
Knicks,
over the
Yankees.
decades,
Yankees. Which one is more popular? Have that debate.
Jets and Giants, way down here. Even with the Giants winning Super Bowls, no one cares about the Giants compared to the Knicks if the Knicks are doing well, right?
I think
this
that's
is a basketball freaking town.
It's the Mecca.
And Madison Square Garden is going to be rocking, great. But I think the NBA champion is coming out of this series.
No doubt.
And it's a crazy thing. And like you said, you brought that up, and when you mentioned it, I went, "Oh yeah, every one of these teams is built differently. They're built, and they were built up in a totally different way."
Yeah.
And I think that if you're a smart GM, you got to consider all the ways that you can build your team. And there's no straight line to success for these franchises, but I think it's phenomenal to be able to watch. So I'm excited about it. I don't even know who I want to win this. I don't know who I want to win this series. I really don't.
I can't stand OKC. And Minnesota
JJ,
would be interesting and different.
Are they both in the Northwest Division?
They are.
Hey, now.
They're Northwest Division rivals of the Utah Jazz.
I love it. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go. When we return, let's jump in and chat a little bit. Oh, we've got a top 10 game coming up. Don't want to miss it.
Fun.
Don't want to miss the top 10 for today. Stay with us right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, bro. You hear us every day. Opinions.
Hey, what you doing?
Well, now it's time to hear from you.
Hey, great show.
Download the KSL Sports app and fire off your thoughts with the call-in tab on the bottom of your screen.
Your show is fantastic. It's the one that captivates me the most.
You can tell PK to stop singing.
G-Bang!
Let Jake and Ben know what you really think of the Jazz. Tell Hans and Scotty about your favorite barbecue spot or what color of tie JJ should be wearing on TV. The best entries will be played on the air. Download the KSL Sports app now and hit the call-in button to let your voice be heard.
I think you guys do an incredible job.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Love having you a part of the program every day, y'all. I'm all over the place with this thing. I've got in front of me a top 10 for today. And it's a little bit hard to... It required way more. It was like doing homework. I hate that. You know what I mean? Like, I got myself into a corner and then I couldn't stop doing it. I was like, well, I got to stick with this, I guess. So today's top 10 is going to be quite fun. It's also going to be extremely. It will be difficult. I'm going to be honest. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. You guys surprise me all the time.
Are you just trying to psych me out?
No. Because
You're trying to intimidate me?
Yeah. I legitimately don't know if I would do well on this just because it's a big swath. And we were talking about, before I get into it, I got to make sure and get to some business side of things. You ready for this? You want to join Hans and Scotty on Wednesday? They're going to have in studio, right here in this very studio, Kids on the Move, promoting the Hope in Motion Golf Invitational. Not just a golf tournament, it's a chance to drive real change for children with developmental disabilities in your community. Check it out tomorrow. They will have Kids on the Move right here in studio. In the meantime here, JJ, here's how it goes. This week's top 10 is inspired by dollars, by money. Fred Warner signing up for the richest linebacker contract in the history of the league. With that, and you know how this works, the guaranteed money, usually there's a big front end.
Yes.
So the signing bonus that comes with that, a lot of times that guaranteed money is already wrapped up into that.
Right.
So what will happen is you'll see a small number next to on the cap space for Fred Warner.
Creative ways to reduce your cap number.
So you throw that out there, you can pay the guy. So you probably had a massive payday for our guy, Fred Warner, which makes him the highest career paid BYU NFLer ever.
Wow.
So prior to yesterday,
until Steve Young cashes all those checks that are in his drawer.
Oh, are you talking about the
USFL checks?
Talking about the USFL checks that are supposed to be. When does he done getting paid on that?
I don't know.
Bobby Bonilla's jealous of Steve Young. So you've got don't Google anything, Christian. I don't like what you're doing over there, my guy.
I'm not.
I don't like that at all. So before yesterday, Fred Warner's career earnings were $46 million.
Wow.
He's eclipsed the $100 million category, which has not happened for a BYU player ever.
Wow.
So the top 10 is, and I'll give you number one already.
So Fred Warner's
number one.
Okay.
But really, I'm going to make you have 10 because I've got 11 plus in front of me. So today's top 10 is the highest paid BYU football players of all time. Are you ready? And go.
Kyle Van Noy.
Ding.
Zach Wilson.
Ding.
Oh, man, who would be next? Dennis Pitta?
Ding.
Steve Young.
Ding.
Jim McMahon.
Ding.
Okay. Oh, who else would be highest paid? Gosh, I'm missing somebody. Brett Kiesel.
Just outside the list. By
Okay.
the way. Yeah.
Come on,
Just
Christian.
outside.
Give me some BYU legends that played a long time in the NFL.
There's got to be like a
Norm
DB
Johnson.
or something, right?
Huh?
A DB?
A DB of
Not
some sort
from
in there?
BYU.
No way, no.
No, linebacker. Think linebacker.
Sorry, let me correct.
Rob Morris.
Let me correct. Hold on. Let me go back to the Rob Morris side of things. Just outside of it.
Okay.
Sorry,
man.
Brett Kiesel was a winner. Ding.
Okay, I got him. Good. Austin Collie. No. Okay.
Just outside.
Who am I missing?
A few
Who am
you're
I
going to
missing
kick yourself
right now?
over, but I get why. There's just too many names. That's time.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so let me give you the top.
What's wrong with my brain
The top
today?
earners. And this is a hard thing to do because top earners doesn't mean the best ever.
Right.
Right? Because you've got...
I should have been able to come up with a couple more.
Yeah, you'll kick yourself over some of these. So,
Okay.
Fred Warner, number 1. Number 2, all time, Ziggy Ansah.
Oh, yes, Ziggy.
Yeah.
Ziggy, yes.
Ziggy got a second contract. He got paid.
That's right, he did.
$60 million.
And he had a good rookie contract because he was the number 5 pick.
$61 million over 8 seasons. Not bad for our
Ziggy.
guy, yeah.
Not bad at all.
But yes, after Fred Warner, Taysom Hill
Oh, yes.
at $42.7 million.
He did get that paycheck.
Yeah, he did.
How did I not say Taysom?
KVN, like you said.
Yeah.
And then, see, I have to kind of skip around because some of these numbers are...
Jamal Williams.
Just on the outside
Okay.
at $15 million in his career. But Brett Kiesel was 32, so he was on the list. Dennis Pitta at 24.5 on the list as well. Steve Young was $49 million, so he was actually number 4 all time on the list. Jamal Williams, 15.5. Yeah. So, and Dennis Pitta, you got Zach Wilson, so you're only short. This one's gonna shock you. How about Sione Takitaki at
Good for
11.5
Sione.
million?
Yeah, I would not have guessed that. I missed on Taysom.
Oh,
that
by
was
the
an
way,
egregious miss.
Number 11. So technically with the top 10 here, and he's ahead of Ty Detmer, who would be 12 on this list.
Okay.
Brady Popinga. How about
good for
B-Pop?
Brady.
Yeah,
He
11.7.
had a good, solid
Yeah, he did.
NFL career.
8 seasons in the league. So
That's
there you go.
great.
Yeah.
No, I'm Taysom. I can't believe I blew that.
The money, the Taysom one and the Ziggy Ansah one. Like you just don't.
Ziggy
Right.
sneaky under the
You
radar.
wouldn't expect that.
No, you don't think about it. But again, I think it's partly of what that rookie scale was. He was the number 5 overall pick.
When you're that high of a pick, you're making bank.
But good for our guy Fred Warner. He's the first BYU Cougar in NFL history to eclipse the $100 million mark.
Brian Santiago on line 3.
He's
Fred.
Hey, Fred. You know, Alex Smith has an entire weight room named after him up at the U, right? You don't want to be shown up by a U, do you? Some of that conversation going on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, one of these days they'll come back. He and KVN. Look, him and Kava Inouye coming back and donating to like the weight room, that'd be awesome. The Kyle Van Noy.
Brian Santiago taking notes right now.
No, he already has.
Good thing I listened to JJ and Alex. I would not have come up with this idea.
He already has the other guys on speed dial, right? I mean, my goodness,
sure.
he better. Joining us right now in studio, he is Todd with IBEW 354. Your local friendly, I like saying it like that. Your local friendly electricians and
like it
telecom
too.
workers labor union. Todd, first of all, you're the nicest union leader I've ever met.
How many union leaders have you met?
How many goons do you have, Todd?
How many Jimmy Hoffas do we know? No, listen. I look at it and I think that this service that you provide is helping people understand that there's something different than just the traditional college route, which you went on.
Yep.
And you went, you know what? This is not the career path that I thought it was going to be. And I like this thing over here. I think that's a big part of it is like finding what the joy that you get in working with your hands, solving problems, having things come out to zero at the end where you're like, nope, it works. And it's going to work forever. And we're going to make sure it works. That's a really, really big part of this.
Yeah, it's huge. It's so rewarding. And the project, when it's all done, like you said, it all comes together. You flip on the lights, everything works. It's just so satisfying, the type of work there. So, yeah, just knowing that there is options other than college, and the opportunity to get paid while you're learning it is huge, rather than having to invest a huge amount of money and then hope you can get a job on the other end and come out of it okay. It's tricky. So yeah, I've chased the overtime work. I've ran through working all the extra hours, and I've paid off all my student debt and all that stuff. When I got started, I had over $100,000 in student debt. Oh my goodness. And I've been able to battle back through the trades.
I think people be really surprised.
Did you go to the Ivy Leagues? What's going on?
So I got an associate's degree in business and accounting, and then I became a helicopter pilot.
Oh, see?
And that was really expensive.
Oh,
yeah.
And flight school is not
cheap.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Trade school would have been much more. I mean, go get your apprenticeship. Get paid while you work, right?
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
then all of a sudden you can make $43.65 starting on June 1st on the check.
Yeah.
You guys have, this is what a lot of people out there listening right now, maybe you're working some bad job right now, your dead-end job, some career that's not working out for you. Go to the trades, and electrical is a way to go.
Electrical is the way to go. Like we talked about earlier, too, just the demands for electrical are only going up.
Oh, man.
We keep coming across stuff to make it more efficient, like LED lights and some of those other things, but then we keep building data centers and electric cars.
Right.
And yeah, the need's always going to be there.
If you're listening right now and you're hearing Todd's voice, you can be a part of this if you want. And look, and there's so many people who are listening too, and they go, "This is something my cousin. This is something my brother. This is something my sister."
We have a lot of high school graduates this week.
Yes.
What are you going to do next?
And that's a great point.
This is a great route to go.
You want to do the apprenticeship, you got to be 18 years old, right? And so let's get people going. And if they are, and if you've got that kid who just graduated and they don't know what they want to do with their lives, give them that phone number so they can get on this thing and start figuring it out here, Todd.
Yes, give us a call, 801-306-0722, or hit our website, ibew354.org. And there's a Get Started button right there on the main page, and we can get you all the info.
Let's go. Let's do it. 801-306-0722. That's 801-306-0722. Or just go check them out online, ibew354.org. Todd, we'll chat with you in a few minutes, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right. We'll come back. We got more to go around the corner. If your Olympic sports at your university, the one that you support, if some of those sports had to go away, or the secondary sports, when I say secondary, your non-football, non-basketball, non-big names, non-big money sports were to go away, which ones do you think would be the first to go? Stay right here with us. More to go. 97.5 DKSL Sports.